The Abrams rumbles into the occupied village. The loader slams a shell into the chamber. Enemy troops are barricaded in that building. The operation started with a bold move. A Bradley comes in from the other flank of the village, starting the assault and clearing out the buildings where the Russian infantry has taken cover. The Russians are completely disoriented and unable to hold their ground. Meanwhile, the Abrams takes out building after building where the enemy is hiding. The Russian command never expected that their assault would be met by a mechanized battalion, let alone one armed with Western equipment. The Russians are compelled to seek shelter in building after building to escape Abrams' fire, but only a handful manage to make it out alive. Meanwhile, the Bradley, advancing from the opposite flank of the Abrams, traps the Russians in a deadly crossfire, shredding buildings with its 25mm cannon and turning them into Swiss cheese. The sector is clear. Infantry takes over. The Azov fighters face a tough and dangerous mission. Going house to house, they search every inch for Russian soldiers. Every step could be their last. Mine trails and unexploded shells are just the tip of the iceberg. Every move must be deliberate and precise. And there it is, the first contact with the enemy. The soldier requests bomber drone support. An agricultural drone, repurposed to drop heavy anti-tank mines, takes off, delivering its payload to the target. Enemy squad wiped out. The team's precision is admirable. The unit moves toward the next structure where Russian soldiers have taken cover. Just look at how they cover each other. Every step is calculated and precise, down to the smallest detail. One of the soldiers identifies 3 Russian soldiers in the building and opens fire. They chose not to surrender, and the M67 grenade did its job. They could have survived, but they missed their chance. These are the harsh realities of war. The invader must surrender or be wiped out. The Russians are taken out, and the building has been secured. Once they confirmed there was no more threat, Azov fighters pressed on. The fighters use underbarrel grenade launchers for clearing, minimizing close contact with the enemy, and maximizing their safety. However, there are times when taking a risk becomes unavoidable, as there is no other way out. The soldier heads down to the basement and takes out one enemy. Two Russians are still hiding in the basement, not willing to give up so easily. 30 seconds have gone by.
Давай. Раз, два, три.
Выходи, сука! Выходи! Отвечаю, да, я стрелять не буду!
Давай, выходи! Сюда ползи! На пол, на пол! Ползи!
Быстро, быстро, быстро сюда!
Мой дед сделал нормальный выбор. Мы его тупо не убьем, он будет жить, пойдет на обмен.
Давай. Раз, два, три.
War has brutal rules, but he made his decision.
Ого, на!
Russian forces launch a reconnaissance drone over the area to analyze the results of the Ukrainian offensive. They observe how the Azov fighters storm house after house, taking Russian soldiers as prisoners. Russian command urgently requests reinforcements to hold this village. A BMP-3 with elite special forces riding on its armor moves out to counter the Azov assault. But the Ukrainians were ready for this scenario. The first FPV drone launched as soon as the armored vehicle carrying Russian troops came into sight. The ambush was deadly. Special forces and their vehicle were blown apart. Aware that the fight is far from over, the Ukrainians scan the area closely and spot another armored vehicle making its way across the field. Coordinates confirmed. The FPV drones are en route to the target. The first drone hits the engine compartment, but the vehicle doesn't stop. The grenade launcher fires from cover but hits the grill. ATGM operator targets and fires missile. Infantry riding on armored vehicle is destroyed. FPVs finish operation, diving into Russian APC one after another. Note that the anti-drone net intercepted several drones, allowing the vehicle to survive a bit longer. But there's a limit to everything. The final drone strikes the vehicle, which already has its crew wiped out. The Ukrainian ambush was successful. No reinforcements are coming.
А-22-31. Заряд штатный. Прицел.
По готовности 1 снаряд, огонь.
Yes, exactly. The artillery was tasked with shelling to prevent Ukraine's advance, even though the bulk of Russian forces are still waiting for reinforcements and taking cover in those buildings. Russia's tactics are devoid of humanity. Several Russian units were eliminated by friendly fire. Sadly, one of the shells hit the shelter where Azov fighters were hiding. Ukrainians desperately try to save their comrade, using all their strength to clear rubble.
Надо рычаг.
One of the soldiers carefully uses a beam as a lever, straining to lift the heavy, collapsed wall. Every second counts as the clock is ticking.
Можешь достать? О, есть! Есть! Быстрее, быстрее! Быстрее, Илюх, вылезай! Миха, сюда!
They managed to do it. They saved their comrade in arms. If they don't leave the building soon, Russian artillery will pound them again. A pickup truck carrying the wounded soldier heads towards the nearest field hospital. The injury's serious, but his condition is under control. Meanwhile, the fight to reclaim the village from the occupiers goes on. The village is nothing but scorched ruins now, with hardly any structure intact. Azov fighters are close to securing the entire area. It's no coincidence they're called cyborgs. They perform their tasks like machines, with impeccable skill and dedication. They are the pride of Ukraine's armed forces. The soldiers are now sweeping through the last meters of the village.
Є, тихо, живий, живий, живий! Вилазь!
Ебал пол! Ебал пол! Ебал пол! Ползи! Ползи сюда! Сюда ползи! Быстро!
Скажу лево.
Бегом!
За дерево.
Перебили, да, перебили левую. Сюда, сюда. 1200.
Russian got lucky, receiving medical treatment right when he needed it.
Быстро, аптечку, аптечку. Хуй. Ты дебил, ебать, ты тупо умер на параше, ты это понимаешь? Пацаны, чекайте. Ползи, ползи сюда, быстрее.
He avoided the same tragic fate as his comrade, making the right call. He'll be swapped for an Azov soldier soon.
Только рука, только рука.
Operation successful. The village is under Ukrainian control and no irreparable losses.
Терпи.
Russians tried to escape in an armored vehicle that had been delivering supplies, rushing out of the village. Ukrainian forces spotted them and quickly deployed a bomber drone to take it out. Chasing down the Russians, the operator releases the payload with pinpoint precision, striking the infantry with shrapnel and igniting the camo net stretched over the anti-drone grid. Russians ditch the APC on the move, figuring it's their only shot at survival. The second mine goes off right above the driver's hatch, striking him with deadly fragments. The driver's body is stuck on the turn lever, making the armored vehicle circle until it runs out of gas. The radio picks up only the engine's hum and the clattering of the tracks. The final bomb drop ends the lethal spin, ripping the vehicle to shreds. Soldier who bailed from vehicle captured some incredible footage. The survivors, hiding in the nearby forest, called for a pickup through the radio. The evacuation is planned for dusk, to stay under the radar of drones. As they sweep through every inch, the Ukrainians start to doubt they'll find anyone. But then, through the FPV drone camera, the pickup with surviving occupiers comes into view.
Ёбаный в рот! Да нихуя он не наш! Ты попал по нему? Да.
Surviving this was sheer luck. After enduring such terror, the idea of going back to the front line is almost unbearable. This is the occupiers' destiny. Death is the price of their invasion. The task is tough, but Ukrainians push through it. There's no other choice. They're fighting for their land. If you want more episodes, please like and leave comments. This will be a great incentive to release a new video. See you soon.